Here's some tenant rep tips when working with a local business. Nothing is cooler than watching a client open for business with a line around the block, but there's a lot that goes into that prior to that ever happening. So here are some things I would like you to do prior to ever hitting the go button and looking for sites. First, get a better sense of where your client is within the process. These are some questions that you should be asking. Do they have a business plan? Do they have staffing lined up? Do they have a neighborhood that they want to identify and look in particularly? Do they have existing businesses? Are they looking to do the same concept or something different? How are they funding the project? Is this going to be contingent on them getting an SBA loan? Do they have an outside investment group? Are they funding it themselves? These are all things that need to be identified right away because 99% of the time, the broker's landlord or the landlord themselves are going to be asking those questions, and you want to have the answers right off the bat. Next thing I like to do is have that conversation with them of time expectations. If they're just looking for one site within a certain market, I think you need to have a reasonable timeline given to them of when you're going to be able to present sites to them. Worst case scenarios, you're just going to say, great, I'm going to get you sites. And the next day you start getting text messages and calls of where are my sites. You want to be able to put a time frame, a realistic time frame, whether that's 5 business days, 7 business days, depending on your load schedule, is you want to have a date that they can expect to have sites that you can review together. From there, you can take those sites, reduce them down, and then be able to then start having conversations with brokers or landlords based on the direction that you've been given from your client. Lastly is once you identify these sites and you go on tour and you're ready to start putting together some LOIs, have a good sense of what their goals are. Are they looking for the best base rent and they have the funding to handle the construction themselves? Are they going to be looking for a significant tenant improvement allowance package to offset construction costs? Are they looking for a balance of both? These are all things that you should know right out of the gate, so that way when you're putting together these letter of intents, you know exactly what their goals and intentions are. Also, you're going to be the expert in the market. Most likely, you're going to have had the opportunity to work with, the landlords that you're negotiating with. So you're going to know their pressure points, what they typically agree to, what they typically don't agree to be able to help navigate your client through that LOI process. But to take a step back, once again, before ever hitting the go button on the real estate, because really the real estate is the last piece of the puzzle, is first, I like to know where they are in the process: business plan, funding, staffing, all of that. From there, I like to then set expectations of time, when I'm going to be able to get sites to them, when I'm going to be out to market, when are we going to be touring, so that right out of the gate, they have their timing expectations lined up with mine. Lastly, is know what they want in terms of deal points. Are they looking for more funding to offset construction costs? Are they looking for a better base rent? And that way you will then know how to negotiate the deal in advance. But all of this needs to be communicated prior to ever searching for sites.